All right, one more time, the program here this morning on ITV on independent television, Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria. Well, I told you that we are going to be looking at the redesigning of the Naira notes, how it will affect the 2023 presidential election, and of course, security in our country. Well, you may want to say that is a good one, because somehow maybe the federal government of the day actually understand that one thing to be done now in order to help salvage the country from the issue of vote buying is to redesign our currency. Well, there are, accusations and counter accusations, if you like now, reactions and counter reactions as it relates to this move. Some say that is a good one, but it is not done at the right time. Some say that perhaps the Buhari's administration would have done it the first tenure of his administration, and it's almost too late now. Well, the CBN has told us that whether it is too late or not, that constitutionally Nigeria ought to redesign its currency every 5 to 6 years. Now, if you recall, it's almost about 20 years since we had that in Nigeria when the 1,000 naira bill was introduced, the 200 naira was redesigned, the 500 naira was redesigned, and some other currencies. And of course, the CBN is so concerned now that there is so much currency in circulation that the CBN cannot manage the amount of currency in circulation anymore. And coupled with the fact that even the amount of money in circulation is almost too, you take Naira notes, they are too old to be seen, so to say. These are some of the concerns that CBN has raised. Well, for us all, just like what we said here, we're going to be looking at the redesign of the Naira notes, the implication that is going to have for the 2023 elections and also for security. Well, we are so privileged to have Nwita Igbutako here with us this morning. He's a conflict resolution expert, a human rights activist, and a public and political analyst. So you're welcome to this morning on ITV.
Good morning, viewers.
All right, too.
It's good to be here.
Okay, so we also invited Ayamekwe Edukbolo, but he called in some few minutes ago to apologize that he cannot make it. So we're also expecting to join Frank Eyosu via the Zoom so that he can also pass his comments on some of the issues that we're going to be raising here. Now, we're going to be opening our studio line, so that you can also make your comments on some of the concerns that are building around the currency redesigning. So you're welcome one more time.
It's a pleasure.
All right,
viewers,
so,
once again.
So as we look at the issue today, how can we start by talking, look at the issue at hand, the currency redesigning, the 2023 election, the implication, most especially as it relates to security in the country?
Well, I think it's a welcome development, but the problem, with the Nigerian situation is that the ability for government to follow through positively so that it can, reflect positively on the populace. You understand? Where redesigning currency, I think, is good, looking at the general elections coming, because whether we like it or not, the 2023 general election is unique. It's an election that has generated a lot of heat, given the perilous, I'll use the word perilous socio-political situation we are, because we have unprecedented inflationary trend in the country. Price of goods and services have gone up, and people are not having fun in the country. And insecurity is an issue. And we equally agree that never in the history of Nigeria has we been so riddled, battered with insecurity. So looking at the 2023 election, I think it's an attempt to, to make sure that those who have made so much money in the system, because we know the issue of vote buying and selling. Politicians who have made so much money, they want to use those money and things like that. So I think it's a good, it's a welcome development, but how is the government going to be sincere because my concern is sincerity. We've had all sorts of policies, all sorts of program initiatives. At the end of the day, they don't trickle down. At the end of the day, the same story, you know. And if the federal government is sincere, because whether we like it or not, the federal government is the all progressive people's party, all progressive Congress, APC, is the government at the center, it's the ruling party, and they want to win election, they want to come back. And the presidential candidate has been moving around, and these are people who have entrenched their interest in the system. We know their antecedent. We know they have a lot of money, they have a lot of liquidity and things like that. So, my concern this morning, Emefiele and his crew at the Central Bank of Nigeria, would they be sincere to do these things? Would they not cut corners to favor some big-time politicians in the system? That's the problem. And looking at the inflationary trend unprecedented that we are going, though it's a global thing, but have you seen any drastic effort from this government to fight inflation? The thing is ballooning, is skyrocketing. You go and buy something today, tomorrow the thing has gone up. The system is inconsistent. So now we are telling the federal government, sincerity, and a lot of money, because there's a lot of money that is involved in this redesigning of currency notes. And for the first time, we're going to have 5,000 and what have you.
Well, that's still under speculation now, whether they will introduce 5,000.
The other day, the finance minister was complaining that she's not in the know. Before Emefiele said he has the blessing of the president. So, and that's got to show you the level of coordination at the level of the Federal Executive Council.
Okay, now a while ago, yeah. All right,
so the money, for me, as a civil society activist, as a complete revolution person, you see, what should be the main objective of government? How the greatest number of people will be happy. Look at America. Look at the midterm elections. Look at issue-based. Look at the abortion issue. Look at gasoline. Though that is you know, the fallout of the Ukraine and Russia and whatever. But for instance, President Biden is anxious, is worried, but we don't have that here. Because the kind of money that will be, I think, is ill-timed. Because me, as far as I'm concerned, given what we know in this country, given the antecedent of systemic managers, would they be sincere? That's a big issue.
Okay, you've said that, and you are concerned about the
sincerity of doing this thing. At the end of the day, they may bring out the 5,000 note, and before you know it, they will start holding it. The last time they introduced 1,000 naira note, we know how long the thing trickled down. Some big ways in the system, they had it. It was easy for them to carry about because they are used to carrying dollars. It's long, Nigerian politicians, they hold dollars.
So are you trying to say that this administration probably is trying to redesign the currency, you know, to favor them? I mean, to
favor the ruling party.
Oh, really?
That's where I look at it.
How?
Because the ruling party is interested in winning general elections, and they have access to liquidity. I don't want to start mentioning names here. There are people, political bigwigs, who have made so much money for the system. The president candidates of APC, for instance, the president candidate of PDP, for instance, these are people that have millions of billions in the system. So at the end of the day, I'm still talking about sincerity.
Yeah, but we also have other billionaires that are also contesting the election that are not necessarily in the APC. I mean, Atiku Abubakar is not an ordinary Nigerian.
I know.
Even our own Peter Obi is also not an ordinary Nigerian. These are people that They are worthy, so to say, in their own right. You know, so the question I'm asking one more time is, if this present administration, because from what the CBN has told us, that look, they are going to use this redesigning in such a way to actually know the bourgeois in the society. I mean, if you come forward to present a certain amount of money to the CBN, questions will be asked. So,
don't they know the bourgeois? Don't they know who is in the system? The EFCC and what have you? Are they sincere? Look at the issue of the oil theft, because these are systemic facts. Look at the oil theft. It is organized at the highest quarters. The people at the national NNPC, Nigerian National, is not limited or something. Nothing happens. The people just write something inside on paper, and notice people are stealing our oil, billions of barrels. It's an issue. So my concern, unlike other civilized countries where people will be sincere. Okay, look at what happened in Great Britain recently. Liz Truss came in and started to do something, which is Minister of Finance and all that. The thing backfired, and they just left. But Nigeria, they will not back out. For me, I don't even see why an Emefiele will be set governor of Central Bank, for instance.
Well,
that's my opinion. I don't know what Emefiele is still doing as governor of Central Bank, given the role he played during the primaries. This is a man that contested, he bought 100 million form for APC.
Yeah, but he has right, he's a Nigerian, he has right to contest if he so wish, just as you also have
he has right to contest. Such a sensitive position. So for me, I want to urge the CBN and his crew with the federal government to be sincere.
All right, now
let's... So that it can trickle down, and so that it will not be a matter of, doing apartheid. That's, you do it to favor a certain category of people. And we know what is happening in the banking sector. A lot of corruption. How do Central Bank monitor the bank regulatory policies?
Yeah, that is part of what the CBN intends to do now, because one of the reasons why the CBN has actually called for redesigning of the currency is to be able to mop the amount of currency in circulation.
We know there's a lot of money, a lot of illegal money.
Yes, a lot of naira notes in hands of people. So they need to mop them.
Me, I'm not against mopping up. But in fact, the process may even be advantageous to one of the dark horse, presidential dark horse running. You want to mention name. Because Nigerians are tired. Nigerians, they are tired of the mess in the system.
Okay.
So for me, the policy may even favor, one of the dark horse. You want to mention names now.
Yeah, but I asked you how a while ago.
It may favor. But at the end of the day, because Nigerians are clamoring for change. Nigerians want they want sanity in the system. You understand? It still boils down to what I will continue to say.
Okay.
Sincerity. How is the central bank, will it be sincere in taking this matter to its logical conclusion?
Okay.
Or will it start cutting corners and looking at faces to, during the mopping up, and, what kind of tools, monitoring tools, is the central bank going to put in place to monitor the banks, so that they don't scatter the program? You know what I mean? Because they don't compromise and jeopardize the system. So if there's a monitoring tools that is transparent and is uncompromising, fantastic. So I'm using this opportunity to call on Emefiele, the governor of Central Bank, to put all the tools in place and make sure it doesn't favor one against the other. Okay. That the policy should go. It should go blanket. It should be a blanket thing, so that I can favor people. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we understand that the Naira notes that are built for redesigning are the 100 Naira notes, 200 Naira notes, 500 Naira notes, and of course the 1,000 Naira notes. There are also insinuations that we cannot confirm now that the CBN is going to be introducing the 5,000 naira note. So with time, we'll get to know that how true that is going to be. Now, Nwita Igbotako, yes. A while ago you talked, and of course I listened to you carefully, that the policy is a good one. It's a very laudable policy, good. Just as most Nigerians
insecurity,
we say. Yeah. But the worry that Nigerians are expressing is the sincerity of purpose. There seems to be this lack of trust between Nigerians as a people and, of course, the authority that we have. I mean, this redesigning of the Naira note now is another way of knowing that Nigerians, they doubt the authorities and all that. Oh. Now, how did we get here? When did it start? How can we get away from all this?
You see, because over the years, the system has been most insincere to Nigerians. You put a policy. How many policies have the federal government put in place to, all sorts of policies to, to handle poverty and all that? How many people are benefiting? You see the thing advertised all over the place, but the thing doesn't trickle down. It just few people who are close to ministers, who are close to governors, who are close to whatever that will benefit.
But how many people really take advantage of such policies?
I don't know, they will apply, but at the end of the day, they will not get it. When you sister, I am a journalist too. We write on these issues. The policy will be there. They will say people apply. All sort of, I can't remember their names now, all sort of poverty-related programs that Buhari has brought. But still, there's still endemic poverty. People cannot have a square meal is a problem for most people. So, the way this government has handled insecurity, for instance, the Fulani issue, the proliferation of terrorist, gangs.
Well, this government is not. This government is not.
These are issues.
We also had similar situations even during the government administration.
Yeah, so but the thing has worsened. These are issues that are germane. Insecurity is an issue. Imagine a character that Sheikh Ahmed Mohamed Gumi, that character in Kano or somewhere, behaving as if is a de facto federal government. You know what that guy said?
Let us not leave.
These are the issues.
Now. Yeah, let's stay on.
This somebody the Department of State Security would have picked up and agree. Those are they picked up his associate, the other guy.
Yeah, but we cannot also suggest. So but let's leave the authorities involved.
Gumi has told us that if they mop the naira, if they try to, that the bandit will not be demanding dollars. You have not heard this.
But you and I know.
That can be such inflammatory statement.
Yeah.
Encouraging is a patron of the bandits.
Yeah.
Such a man he makes unguarded statement. So I'm not using that as an example. The insincerity of government. If the government is sincere, the thing has been on over the years.
No,
that's why people are not disposed to trust government. Yeah, that's why I don't trust government.
Yeah, but don't you also think, just like what you said, don't you also think that perhaps Nigerian government needs to look at something that is not looking at? Because just like what somebody suggested, and as you're also trying to suggest here now, that instead of trying to redesign the Naira notes, why don't the federal government try to tackle the free usage of dollars in Nigeria? I mean, dollar is not a legal tender in Nigeria.
It's not. It is highly
illegal, to use.
Dollars.
But dollar is almost a legal tender.
So all those people going and engage in these currency transactions, they are just boys. They are foot soldiers. The big-time politicians are involved in this business. This Bureau de Change thing, the who is who. I don't want to mention names. The political weight, heavy weight, they're involved. They're the one messing up the system.
So are you also trying to suggest here now that instead of the federal government trying to redesign the Naira notes, why don't try to intensify on ways of really banning the outright usage of dollars in Nigeria? I mean, it's not a legal tender.
Like what a former economic advisor to, is it Obasanjo or something, Professor Aluko, said what Nigeria economy is pricing is a kalo economic system. you don't use that, dramatic expression. That means that the economic programs are not sincere. For a Penista Professor Aluko to have said that. If the government is sincere, and we'll be happy for it. I think it's not done on us to monitor Emefiele and his crew. Okay, now, is it not a signal to all of us that Minister of Finance, Emefiele did not carry Minister of Finance along. He went straight to the presidency and all that. But it should be a federal executive council.
Yeah, but the question we ask,
they should work in unison.
The CBN governor, does he report to the Minister of Finance?
But
that's the question we ask. Or he reports directly to the president?
Even if he reports directly to the president, but we expect this transparent, healthy, relationship. Because we are talking of Naira. Never in the history of Nigeria as Naira has gotten to where it is. Some people bought their cars. How much did I buy my car the other day? 1 point something. It's now almost 4 million.
Yeah, but that's what a global issue.
But what is Nigeria doing about it? I just told you about what is happening in the United States. If the pump price of gas jump up in US, Washington will be panicking. Because that's a country that have the interest of the people at heart. But yeah, things will happen. The presidency will not even move. Things happen to be going on their own without proper coordination and all that. So I think because of what we have seen in the issue of security, the way the government are managing security in an uncoordinated manner, that people are now making billions from ransom and all that. And we have an Air Force, we have the Army, we have all of them. We have gadgets. This is not the age of barbarism. Even your phone can track people. But the way they done insecurity, for instance, which is an issue before the election, are we sure the federal government using Emefiele will be transparent? And so, okay, everybody bring your money and all that. And we know some people who hold these banks. Like the UBA, for instance, Elumelu is whatever. Yeah. So these are big-time politicians. These are engines of political manipulation. Engines of political manipulation in the system. So I feel sincerity is the issue, because there have been several policies, several programs that did not reflect, that did not go down to the people. So for me, as I said earlier, good, fantastic. But let all of us monitor the central bank. Okay. The civil society, those working on banking and finance, oil, gas, or whatever. Let's monitor the central bank. Let's take Emefiele up. Because what is happening, I'm using the opportunity to tell Nigerians that we should not take everything as face value. Okay. All right. So quickly, before we see the next topic that we actually have for you today, that's INEC to track campaign finances. And of course, some issues emanating from that. So we understand that the INEC Administrative Secretary in Sokoto State, in the person of Hawa Kanjiwa, was at a stakeholders meeting yesterday. And of course, she disclosed that INEC is going to be monitoring campaign finances. So how will INEC do that? And of course, what are the issues, matters arising as it relates to that? So let's quickly get your calls on the issue that we're looking at this morning, currency redesigning, and of course, the implication it has for 2023 elections and security in the country. Well, the number is going to be on your screen, 07083651320. 07083651320. I repeat, 07083651320, because these are public issues. Naira is something that you and I will use, is a legal tender in the country. Perhaps you may suggest on how the CBN and the federal government can actually go through this, because concerns already that it may be done. It may have some political motivation, just as what Nowita Ibutako is trying to suggest here. We've got calls already coming in. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Mohammed.
Okay, Mohammed.
my contribution. Well done. So, we have been hearing your statements.
Okay.
So the truth of the matter is say the government not they use Nampona talk to they do something. So when they try for the masses. So the design currency, they are going to use them for their own favor. Only for the Nigerian.
So are you trying
So I
to
would be
doubt?
surprised.
Yeah.
So the Nigerian government not even now election day, all of them they come outside. They campaign. They deceive the Nigerian youth saying that's what I will do. Are we a key for this country again? So when they carry their children out of the country, go to other country, go school. Is there any Nigerian government where their children there? Then they will come here, come gather market women. So they deceive our masses.
Okay.
This will not be deceived again.
All right, thank you. You made your point there. 07083
He's talking about, he's saying sincerity.
Yes. Just as what, okay, we've got another caller. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, can you speak louder a bit?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Franklin.
Okay.
I want to ask people to designing policies of Nigeria. What I think is these people, they want to enrich concessions. They have plans to enrich concessions. And the bankers cannot let us do this. Because when you have enough money in your house, you are supposed to bring it down to the bank. So most bankers, they will compromise and collect their own share.
Okay.
So
That leads us to ask the question now. What are our suggestions for the banks? Because the concern now is how will the CBN and its banks, how will they go through all this so that they don't compromise? Because they've said that lots of currency in circulation, so they need to mop. So how would they not compromise? In what ways, will they do so that they don't compromise?
The other way, there are agencies already set up for that kind of issues that will be coming up. We have the EFCC, which I don't know they are sincere in what they do. We also have the DSS. We have many agencies that could do their duty to monitor these exercises. So they should not also compromise to arrest anybody wanting on this. So where will get it?
Okay. All right, thank you. He said that the EFCC should be involved. Any person that stands as a suspect should be arrested. We'll take one more call before we see how INEC intends to, monitor political campaigns. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
My name is Courage. I'm calling from Benin.
All right, Courage.
My own is Nigerians don't have role models at these days. We don't have role models. We don't have people to look up to these days. The only people we have these days are people that want to embezzle Nigeria, people that don't have plans for the future, people that you can't even trust their ways. These are the major problems. Imagine if we have people like Wole Soyinka up to 20, you see people copying the styles of Wole Soyinka. But we have the government that don't care, the government that allocate contracts without completion of the contract. So the next incoming person will also do the same. So what are we not saying? The leaders are to be blamed, no matter what. The presidency, the government, the local government are to be blamed. This is my own contribution this morning.
Okay. All right, thank you, Courage, for that one there. Yes, INEC to track campaigns, finances in the country. Just like what was said yesterday, that the secretary of, the administrative secretary of INEC in Sokoto State actually disclosed this yesterday in Sokoto. Now, I know which I would tackle. The biggest challenge for INEC is how can INEC successfully do this? Because we are looking at, a situation whereby most of these finances, they come from outside the country. they come from
outside. People have stolen our Commonwealth to the extent that people keep money in their houses. People stack dollars, stack naira in their houses.
Are you saying this authoritatively? Do you know of any person that has...
You know,
you know of any person?
The other day, the former governor of Delta State, as a case study, for instance, was keeping money in his bedroom. Somebody just went there and snapped it. Naira, dollar, there. People have stolen so much from the system that they stack this money. And talking of election, 2022 presidential election, general elections, how is INEC going to provide a level playing field? That's the issue. Look at that caller who said, the problem is the system, is the leader, is the rulers. People don't trust them. They don't trust them. Because whether I like it or not, there's one presidential candidate as we speak that moves a billion vans. We know what happened the other day, 250 presidential elections. These are not gimmicks, so these are not rumors. So billion vans actually came out from that guy's house in Lagos. The presidential candidate of All Progressive Congress.
But let us be mindful with the way we say that now, because I mean the agencies are there. The agencies are there. So if any political candidates has billions of naira
is it EFCC that is being manipulated by Malami, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General? We know.
You cannot say so.
I am a serial author. I am a columnist. I write every day on these issues. We know what is happening. Look at the role the Minister of Attorney General played during the other electoral act, trying to torpedo Minister of Justice, Attorney General, before the court had to come in and say, hey man, what are you doing here?
Okay, no.
So what I'm saying is that with the federal government, who is anxious, who is desperate to succeed itself in February 2023, will they allow a level playing field for INEC to track everybody using the same whip? That is the issue. I'm not saying to track my money, not to go after the conditional provision for, for gathering finances for election. It's a fantastic thing. In America, in the civilized countries, they do it transparently. How many people have...
That is the question now, because if we understand that there is a constitutional provision of how much XYZ amounts a party
they follow it to the letter?
Spend, but we also need to...
On election day, people will bring money...
Even if they follow it to the letter. Now, I mean, a campaign billboard, say a campaign billboard that was printed like 5 years ago. Maybe you spend 100,000. I mean, today you cannot do that now. Times have changed. So if a political party probably spent £1 billion naira 5 years ago, so would you want to still expect that political party to still spend that £1 billion naira for its campaigns? So I think INEC needs to also look at some of these issues. That it is not just enough for you to say that a party must not spend more than this amount. Let's look at the economic variation in time and all that.
Reality. Okay, for instance, look at the issue of campaigns, for instance. Are they not laid down rules for coexistence? Now, some city governors, even in Edo State, they are monopolizing the Obamudia Stadium. The thing is all over. But contrary to the provision of INEC, that people should be given...
The question we asked, other political
now, if you go to major city, even ordinary banners, posters, you cannot see opposition posters. They will tear it down. It's only the ruling party. How are we sure? That is my problem. That is the problem in civil society. That is the problem of the Nigerians. How are we sure the INEC, for instance, we provide level playing field? There will be some sort of grammar, but when the nitty-gritty starts, when the election starts, we know what happens.
Now, if you talk about providing level playing field for political parties, you talked about Edo State government not making available public facilities and all that. The question we ask is, other political parties, have they booked these public facilities on time? Did they book on time? I mean, if a certain party booked maybe the Samuel Gwemdia Stadium from now to January next year. Maybe for all the Saturdays from now to January. Then another party now comes, and that party finds out that those days have been booked. So would you want to blame the government in place? That's the question.
The democracy that is being practiced in Nigeria is what I would call barbaric democracy. It's not live and let's live. That is the reality. It's not live and let's live.
Okay, let's take another call.
People want to take advantage because there's a sitting governor.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ahmed.
Okay.
Well, what is that from this our politician? Huh? They are not sincere to themselves.
The same thing you are saying.
Because this money they are going to change is favor for APC themselves. I'm telling you the truth. Because why? If the government is saying, let all of them unite together and register, because so many people have don't back their money inside their houses against the election next year, 2023, my brother.
Yeah,
if I'm giving you.
Yeah, Mohammed, if you say it's for the APC, I mean, all the politicians, we have the politicians who are saying now that have amassed their money in their private houses, they are not only in the APC, they are in the PDP, they are in Labour Party, they are in other political parties. So they are not only in the APC.
I'm sorry for that, because all of them, they are work hand to hand. All of them, majority, all of them, they are gathered that money. Now you go to bank now, you cannot see money in bank now. But if the federal government is sharing in their self now and make that change instantly, many of them, they are going to lose that money inside their house. But there's no sense in government.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now, I think somehow the public also really need to understand what is going on, because the CBN has told us. So right now, I think that if CBN has started mopping these Naira notes, so that's why we are kind of experiencing this scarcity of Naira notes, as it were, right now. Now, just know that your money will not get lost. If you have 1,000 Naira in the bank and maybe you approach a bank, your bank cannot give it to you now, it is safe. The point is, the bank is going to redesign that 1,000 Naira notes and give it to you. It takes some time. So it's something that all of us we need to understand. Now, Nwuta, as we conclude this morning, let's look at all these issues we've talked about. The currency redesign, the implication for 2023 election security, and also INEC to monitor finances. Let's look at them, in a nutshell. How can we go well in all of this?
Well, Nigerians, they yearn for change because we're not in a country. When we say country, this is not a country.
Now, you cannot say so. This is a country,
Compared to what is happening.
You and I will live here. Our family is our country. You are a Nigerian.
It's not a country because you have first-class citizens, you have third-class citizens. They will make a law to favor. So people are not on the same level. That is the problem. So people want change. People want it to be done transparency so that we can move forward. So we have this opportunity to tell Emefiele and his crew, please, your monitoring tools, let it favor everybody. There are some of these banks who are owned by heavy politicians, former member of us, former senators, we know. We have facts. People are lifting oil, people are doing, we know what is happening in the system. So we want to appeal. Godwin Emefiele, Governor Central Bank. Nigerians are watching. The policies seem to be good on paper, but make sure the tools is transparent, monitor all the banks so that you don't favor some people don't bribe their way and, and compromise. I think that is it. The issue of INEC, the campaign fund and all that, we equally want to appeal so that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Not that because one man is a super political heavyweight, we have them, we know them. Not that because he's a super political heavyweight, he will not be untouchable.
Okay.
So you should apply the law to favor everybody across the board.
Okay.
And the civil society too, we should be up and doing and monitor the process.
Okay.
Anytime they go out of the thing, then we attack them.
And I think the civil society also need to engage,
Yes.
CBN
Yes.
the more, because the concern now is how members of the public will identify, the real Naira note, because that's going to be another challenge for our brothers and sisters in the suburbs, in the rural region, rural parts of the country. Because I remember when the 1,000 Naira notes was introduced, it was a big challenge for the elderly. They don't know the authentic one, the real one as it were, and the fake one. Because fraudsters, people that, they will also take advantage.
Yes, they are there.
The CBN will print its own.
Yes.
And of course, these bad people will also print
their
their
own.
own. So right now, we want to suggest to the CBN that they should embark on a campaign on teaching members of the public, sensitize members of the public, so that by December 15th, that you said, when the new Naira note comes out, then of course we can know which one is authentic and which one is not authentic, so that we don't have, our money, gets missing and all that, just as the concern goes on. I really want to say a very big thank you to Nwita Egotako for finding time to come on the show this morning. All right, so the program is still on this morning on ITV. We'll take a short pause now so that we'll join the sports segment, and I'll be right back to wrap it up on the show today.